How's it going, everyone? My name is Coach O'Neal. I am the head coach of Somerset Canyons Cheerleading. I coach all three teams. I coach the middle school, I coach junior varsity, and I coach varsity. And instead of having you guys come in for a parent meeting, I'm just going to send out this video so you can have all the information at the click of a button. So we're going to get ready to go through what we would have done tonight at the parent meeting. You can go through it at your own time, at your own pace. And if you have any questions, you can call me. My number's on the very last slide. Perfect. All right, this year our coaching staff has grown, as our program has as well. So once again, I'm the head coach. I'm Coach O'Neal. We have Coach Dillon, which you guys met him last year. We have Coach Halleckman, who is our strength and conditioning coach. We have Coach Stephanie, which will be our assistant coach. And we have Coach Graham, which will also be another one of our assistant coaches. All right, tryouts are consisted of 4 days. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is optional, and then the actual tryout is on Thursday where teams will be announced. Now, what you need for tryouts is provided on this flyer here. It'll be attached to the slideshow as well. You're responsible for your own shoes. They need to be white shoes. I don't care if they're high top, low top. They just need to be all white shoes. You're also responsible for your own undergarments, like your sports bras and all of that good stuff. You will receive a pair of blue bloomers, but it's best to have your own so that you have more than one pair. Everything is broken down by what to wear for tryouts. Be sure you have your EL2 physical that is given out by the state of Florida. You must have that in your hand on May 5th so that we can upload it all together as one team. Tryouts is broken down by what we do each day. On Monday, we have our fitness test. Tuesday, the agenda is posted. Wednesday, the agenda is posted. Thursday is the official tryout day. You guys are allowed to come and watch. Any family member that comes to watch, it is $5 to get in, and you can come and watch your kids try out. And then the teams will be announced. Anyone that is going for a captain position, the captain information is posted as well. And material will be posted online on May 4th. So they can start learning on Sunday, but we have clinics Monday, Tuesday, optional on Wednesday, Thursday we have tryouts. So because I am the head coach of all three teams, there's a lot of crossover basically. So just because you end up scoring to varsity doesn't mean that you will be on varsity at the end of the year, because if you don't develop and do as you're supposed to do, you could be moved down. Vice versa, just because you end up scoring to middle school or JV doesn't mean that you will be there all year, because there's potential for you to move up with your growth and improvement. So the numbers, we're looking at these numbers for middle school, 25 to 35, only because middle school is where you guys first get introduced to my style of cheer, and I don't feel that it's fair if I make cuts without being able to train and teach you in the things that I want you to be able to do. Junior varsity, we're looking for 15 to 30 cheerleaders. And varsity, we're looking for 12 to 28 cheerleaders. The grades are posted, and it also tells you, it's based off of skill and nothing is guaranteed. The biggest thing about our program is that all practices are mandatory. I released the practice schedule way in advance. The summer schedule has already been out, because if you do not attend practice, you are at risk for losing your spot on that team. You get to miss 2 practices for the entire year. 2. After you miss those 2, you either get demoted or you get dismissed. All right, now back to that physical that I just mentioned. All athletes trying out need to have their physical in their hand on May 5th. I think it's 4 forms that you have to have. You need to have those forms in your hand on May 5th. We'll create their Arbiter account. It's a $20 registration fee just for the Somerset Canyons Athletics. And then we'll upload the physical forms together so that everyone does it in a PDF and does it the right way. But you must have your physical in your hand on May 5th. All right, the middle school competition team. Middle school expectations. Of course, all practices are mandatory. During football season, middle school practices 1 day a week. And then when competition season begins, then we move up to 2 days a week. Now, middle school, they cheer home football games only for middle school, and then they also cheer the homecoming game with junior varsity and varsity for the varsity football team. Middle school is responsible for attending local events with JV and varsity. So in November, when we have our showcase, we will have middle school there along with junior varsity and varsity. In December, when we have our competition, we will have middle school there along with junior varsity and varsity. Middle school is an extension of junior varsity and varsity. So we do a lot of things together, which is why practices are mandatory and the commitment must be there. All right, If you're watching this slide, this is a slide of our current middle school routine. So you kind of sort of get a chance to see like what it is that we do. Of course, we cheer on the sidelines, but as a competitive team, you want your kid to be able to live up to the expectations that are already set. Do they have to tumble? No, because this is middle school, I can teach them how to tumble. Do they have to be a great stunter? No, this is middle school, I can teach them how to do that. I can teach them how to do everything that you're seeing in this video as long as they are willing to learn. All right, so for the junior varsity program, all practices are mandatory. Junior varsity during football season, they typically practice once a week. And then of course, it picks up when competition season starts to twice a week. They cheer their home football games only. Last year, junior varsity football season was a mess. We literally had like one junior varsity home game. This year, we're hoping that it's going to be better than that. But in the event that their season is cut short, they will just cheer with varsity. They will have a football season, whether it be a junior varsity season or they just cheer with varsity. JV travels in the event that varsity cannot attend. So last year when we had a playoff game, JV went to Sarasota for the playoff game because varsity had competition the next day. So junior varsity must be ready to travel if they are called upon. Lastly, JV is responsible for attending home basketball games. That might be a girls game, it might be a boys game. We also have a dance team this year, so they'll get a chance to split back and forth with those teams. But JV is responsible for basketball here at Somerset. Now, junior varsity is the stepping stone to varsity. So how in middle school they are learning all the fundamentals, in junior varsity they're expected to know more of the fundamentals. There are some people that come to us that are brand new to cheer. I have no problem with training them because you cannot be in the 9th, 10th, 11th grade on middle school. However, if you're new to the program, I can take you if you're willing to learn, and I can train you and get you ready to hit the mat. Junior varsity competes for UCA. We are currently 6th in the nation, and we are looking to go higher this year. So junior varsity is going to be a lot more work, a lot more stress, longer hours, but it's going to be worth it because our junior varsity is going to feed into our varsity program, which is going to be top ranked in the nation. And the varsity expectations. The varsity is the top team on campus, which is where all of the most talented athletes will land. These athletes, they already have the fundamentals. These athletes, they've already competed once or twice before. They already know what's expected of them. Now, for varsity, all practices are mandatory and they practice twice a week leading up to competition. Meaning when competition starts, they typically practice 3 to 4 times a week. Varsity, we cheer at all the football games. So we cheer at the home games, we cheer at the away games, we go to the playoff games unless they're too far, and we send JV. We travel to competitions in-state and out-of-state. We go as far as Huntsville, Alabama. This year we're looking to go to Tennessee. We also go to Lakeland. We go to Daytona. We go to Tampa area. Varsity is the team that you see doing all the traveling, doing all the elite skills that get all the rewards because they are the hardest team to make. Varsity is responsible for mandatory weekend meetings. Weekend meetings is just another nice way of saying practices, all right? As well as holiday practices. This year, we will practice right after Christmas, right before New Year's. So if you plan on going to Japan for Christmas, kind of sort of don't need to do that. But that's why we let you guys know everything in advance, all right? So holiday practices will include right after Christmas, right before New Year's, and then they'll get the rest of their Christmas break to spend alone. All right, this is our varsity team. Once again, we are ranked 13th in the nation as far as traditional goes. We are ranked 15th in the nation for game day, and we are looking to improve our ranking by working harder, putting the best of the best on the mat, and making sure that we all lock in. The one thing about varsity, a lot of people feel like they are good enough to make varsity talent-wise, but that does not mean that you are good enough to be on varsity commitment-wise or maturity-wise. So if you have things that conflict with varsity schedule, 9 times out of 10, you will not be on varsity. If you cannot commit to all of the practices and all of the travel, 9 times out of 10, you will not be on varsity. Even if you have the skill, that does not equate to being on the mat. Because if you're looking at the video behind me, the video behind me is consisted of maybe there's 19 on the mat. Out of those 19, I believe that 11 of them were middle schoolers. And then out of the 19 that are on varsity, I know for a fact that at least 5 or 6 were pulled from JV and ended up competing on the varsity mat. So it's aside from being talented, you have to be committed because varsity requires the most time and the most dedication. These are the dates and the games that we're looking at right now. Varsity, they cheer all games home and away. JV, they only cheer home games. Middle school, they only cheer home games. Everyone cheers for homecoming. Now, once we get the JV and middle school schedule, I will release that. But right now, the only thing I can release is the varsity schedule because it has been made. And if anything changes, you guys will be the first to know. All right, behind me, I have the competition schedule for 2025-2026. This is a tentative schedule, so it's subject to change. But right now, I know for a fact that we are looking at these dates, these competitions, all right? Now, the competition fees will be released once we get closer to competition season because each competition has a different rate that each athlete has to pay. But we have fundraisers that we are a part of. We have concession stands. We have many different things that we're going to be able to do to raise the money so that you don't have to pay the money out of pocket. And we're going to talk about the fees in a couple of slides. But the biggest thing is knowing that for the competition schedule, this is what we're looking at, and we are looking to have more parental involvement. So we want parents there, we want grandparents there, we want your uncle in a wheelchair, we want your little brother and little sisters. We want to have more people there to cheer on our athletes so that they feel supported when they step on the mat. We are a UCA competing program, so we do attend UCA camp over the summer. Our UCA camp dates are set for June the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Now, if you cannot make camp, that is perfectly fine because there will be another camp in August. But each athlete is required to pay $300, and that is due the day of tryouts, May 8th, or the 10th. So you have from May 8th, that Thursday, till Saturday, May 10th, to pay the $300 for camp. Whether they go to camp in June or whether they go to camp in August, the $300 is still due between May 8th and 10th. We have our UCA fitting on May 10th as well. So the biggest thing after you find out what team you've made is making sure that you pay the $300 per athlete so that their camp is already paid for. We have our fall and winter fees. This year I'm trying to do things differently by literally giving out fees in advance and sticking to those fees because this is our third year in. So basically everything should just about stay the same and start to get cheaper. So you have a $300 UCA fee, which we will pay between May 8th and May 10th. Then you have, on August 1st, you have your fall fee of $300 that's due. And then on October 1st, you have your winter fee of $300 that's due. And then Nationals is a separate fee of its own. Now, I just threw out a whole lot of numbers. Sounds very scary. We will be fundraising the entire summer. I will be doing overtime clinics and tumbling clinics the entire summer. If you do not know what overtime clinics are, then welcome to the program. Overtime is my side business where I teach kids how to tumble, I teach kids how to stunt, I teach kids how to cheer from all over Broward, Palm Beach County. They come in, they pay their rent, they pay their fees to me, and that money funnels right back into our program. So these numbers have the potential to go down as low as zero if you do the fundraisers, if you're a part of the overtime work crew. All of that good stuff is a good way to make money so that you don't have to pay it out of pocket. If you do not fundraise, if you do not work, then of course you will be asked to pay it out of pocket. Now, fundraisers are available for payment on all of the fees. We have Miss Karen coming in, who's going to be a huge asset to our fundraising. We have Miss Jessica, who's going to be a huge asset to our fundraising. So any questions you have about fees and getting things paid, they will be your go-tos as far as fundraisers and what's coming up. And then we have our team moms that'll be able to help you out with your balances and what's left. Parents who work game day functions will have reduced fees, meaning if you're working in the concession stands, of course, your fees will go down based on income of sales. If you're working at the ticket booth or at parking or whatever we have on game day, you will be able to get a discount on the fees that you have to pay because you're donating your time to better the program. All right, this has been a great parent meeting. I feel like I've gotten to know you all extremely well. I've loved your feedback, but honestly, if you do have any feedback, if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My number should be in everyone's phone regardless. I spend so much time with your kids that if you ever need to get in touch with your kids, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. 334-415-9429. Save it in as Coach O'Neal. I'm looking forward to a great year. I'm looking forward to a great season. This is year 3. It is going to be bigger and better than ever. The talent is top tier. The commitment that I'm already getting from the kids coming into the program is top tier. And I'm just looking forward to taking Somerset somewhere where it's never been before. And that would be the top. I mean, the soccer team just won a state championship, but it's time for cheer to do their thing. And it's literally our year. Year 3. If you have any questions, holla at me.